Hey, watch out! Woman. Oh God, that one stings.
The life of a champion. Boxing King Media, we're joined today by the one and only Lawrence Akolai,
Yes.
WBO champ. Lawrence, how you doing?
I'm good, just chilling right now.
I've got to mention it. Obviously, I walked into the gym today and you've got yourself a little pup named Daisy.
Yeah.
When does a 6'5" cruiserweight heavyweight champion pull out a dog called Daisy? How's that come about?
You know, I feel like there's enough violence and, you know, machoism and boxing, so outside of that, I just have to keep it cool. You know what I mean?
Right. Your dog's obviously dropped a turd in the gym. I'm going to play that through this video. I hope you don't mind me putting that because I recorded you picking that up. I want to catch up with some recent boxing. I don't think you've done many interviews since the AJ fight. Obviously, you know, you're managed by AJ. So I just wanted to get your opinion on the fallout of that fight. You know, obviously you watched it. You know, talk me through it.
Oh, well, no, I just felt that because it boxed very, very well. You know, maintained the center of the ring. You know, boxed well. In a sense, I'm picking clever shots and just, you know, did a lot of work, a lot of good work rate. And obviously for AJ it was difficult because he wasn't able to land these, you know, hard shots consistently. So I wasn't, you know, was able to pick up the rounds, and then obviously as I got later on in the fight, you know, constantly moving with someone like Usyk, who was a very fit cruiserweight. It would be hard for any heavyweight if you haven't dented him already. So you don't make the last few rounds extra hard for him.
Okay. I know you're managed by AJ, but I'm going to ask you anyway whether you answer it or not. How did you score the fight?
No, I mean, I thought that Usyk was winning now, so I was watching it live, and I thought that Usyk was, you know, making rounds, and the problem is there was a lot of even-ish rounds, but where Usyk had put a good work around before, he was just, okay, fuck. I think that was another Usyk round, so definitely, I don't remember how I had it round by round, but I just felt like Usyk won the fight, especially when it ended stronger. But still watching it, I just felt like there was little things, not major things, but little things that AJ could potentially do in another match or that day that could have, you know, made it a different fight. But it's easy on the outside. It'll be interesting to see what will be like on the inside of the ring.
Obviously, loads of people have had their opinion on the fight, you know, what he should do next, you know, people chucking game plans at him. Obviously, you've had 3-4 different trainers yourself, you know, from your own experiences and based on the names that people throwing out who AJ should go to, what do you think he should do, in your opinion?
I think it's hard for me to say because it's up to him and what he, like, so you need a trainer that connects with you, but can also take you out of what you're doing at the moment. So, for example, I'm the type I like to be with a trainer that I can respect. Like, not saying I won't respect any trainer, but one that when he says this, I'll go, you know what, I'm gonna go. So when I'm going into my fights, I'm asking them, what's your, do you reckon I can win this one? Yeah, I reckon I can win this one. Yeah, let's go. And then when it's time for the fight, the game plan's already been set months before, and it's just about executing. And then if it doesn't go your way in round 1, 2, you switch it up. Do you know what I'm saying? So. You have to find someone that takes him out of his comfort zone and really just, you know, can add something. Because the thing about AJ is a natural athlete, good boxing IQ, really fit, but it's just about, you know, mixing in. Because what you can't do, because the thing is that a lot of people want AJ to go in and just go guns blazing. It won't work against someone like Usyk. Usyk's seen every fight, everyone's coming all out, and he just maintains himself, takes off the shots and then gets you later on. So he has to, by he I mean AJ, has to put in clever pressure, work on, you know, cutting off the ring, landing body shots, and also just punching with Usyk. You don't do that with everyone, but you do that with someone like Usyk. You just punch with him because you're a harder puncher, so you'll do more damage than he'll do. So punch with him every time. Anyway.
And you know, following on from that, the other aspect is obviously he's got 3 coaches in his corner at the moment. Obviously, you've just got Shane in your corner. Do you think that's a hindrance, or is that something that's going to benefit him having more than one person in your corner?
It depends. Obviously, you want one person giving you instructions because it makes it a lot easier to focus on what's being said. But at the same time, you you like in training, like for example, I'm like you might do different things with different people, but if it's all one hymn sheet, you might do football drills with one. I don't know what the setup's 100% like, but ultimately AJ knows what he has to do. But I personally feel that there is room for growth in his team.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. Does anybody in this era beat Tyson Fury?
Yeah, like obviously I feel like Tyson Fury is extremely good. You know what I mean? You can see but I've seen him beat two great fighters in Wilder and Klitschko. Yeah. However, there's a whole bunch of other fighters that would be hard fights for anyone. I want to see him in there with them. Dylan White, Hrgović, Daniel Cormier. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Show us. We all put him on a pedestal, but let's see it. Do you know what I'm saying?
And I'm guessing you watched the Canelo fight the other day.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're aiming to be undisputed at cruiserweight. Does Canelo inspire you the way he's gone about his business, just fighting everyone that's undefeated?
Yeah, 100%. You know, the blessing obviously is that he's ready to win it, but secondly, he has the money pool to make these guys put on the line. You know, where I think at my weight, and so it's a lot more difficult to make the fights because people rather hold their belts and be a world champion and box this guy. And, do you know what I mean? But when I'm there for unification, no one is responding like the WBA guy from the WC, Bravest responding with no real intent, do you know what I'm saying? So it's quite a bit of a weird one, but if I was offering 2-3 times the money, then everyone's answering the phone, so it's a bit of a difficult one, obviously, where the politics are involved, because ultimately you could probably box 2 fights and make what you've made for a unification match. You kind of ask yourself, is it worth it, or should I just carry them on this? So it's a tough one, but definitely it's inspiring. Like, you know, you had Teofimo Lopez do something similar, you had Josh Taylor do it, you know, AJ Close, you know.
You know, knowing how boxing politics work, mate, you're fairly experienced in the game. Do you think it's more realistic that you can end up going to heavyweight and not having the chance to be disputed?
It depends. I think once I get one, I think it'll be easier then, because once one happens and I've got 2 belts, now I have something more to add than just a world title. I have 2, you have the opportunity to box and have 3. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And then it becomes, because most people know if they box me, win, lose or draw, whatever, it's going to be a hard fight and you might have 2 belts. Yeah. But then there's still 2 other people. So if someone's got 2, you know that you'll have 3 and then you can have 1 more for undisputed. So I think once I get 1, then it'll be easier to make the other 2.
A quick rewind back on, you know, obviously when you turned pro, you came from the era of Buatsi, Cordina. Looking at as a boxing purist, the skills them guys had, he was like a raw talent with crazy punch power. Did you think 4 years, 5 years on, I'm going to be a world champion? Them guys are still trying to get...
I didn't really feel, I just thought about myself and I knew I'd be a world champion.
And you won everything domestically as well.
Yeah, I said that I would, you know, and I'm happy that I was able to accomplish that, and I believe that they're not far behind. Like, Buatsi will probably win one next year, Joe Cordina and the run-ins, you know, the rest of them are circling, some of them stayed amateur, won the medals, so it's tough to say, but I obviously it's different as well, because different weights. I think when you get to my weight and maybe light heavyweight, it becomes a physical, it's always physical, but it's a lot more about physicality than like the lighter guys. The lighter guys is technique, fitness, how many punches you can throw. With cruiserweights and heavyweights, it's like, if I'm stronger than you, I punch harder, I'm fit, you can have all the techniques and stuff. If you're not able to hurt me and get like, I'm going to use my physicality to knock you off your game plan. You're trying to throw clever punches, I'm throwing one harder. You're now not thinking about your punches, you're thinking about, oh, what's coming next? And you know, like I said, boxing is a contact sport.
Do you think you get the credit that you should be getting? You cleaned up domestically and you've beat everybody. That was like your #1 contenders, and you've gone and fought on a world title in a genuine fight.
Yeah, no, I think it's coming. I think definitely there's been a change since maybe coming with Shane beating the European champion at the time. There's been a shift. Obviously, I feel like if other people had done what I've done, it would be a much bigger thing. But you know, it's just all about, you know, just not focusing on that, just focusing on the wins and being, you know, the accomplishments. I get to sit back home and say, you know, I won a world, you know, I unified that. Do you know what I mean? And then everything else will come off the back of that, I think.
And just wrap it up at a personal level, I saw in a recent interview you said something along the lines of you thought when you become world champion you're going to be a millionaire. Obviously it's not as simple as that.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain, like give some inspirational words to the young upcoming fighters who think as soon as you get a world title, that's it, I'm done for life? It's not simple, is it?
Obviously if you're smart with your money then you can be, but yeah, definitely it's obviously it's consistency as well. You know, there's lots of people that win world titles, you have to be consistent in that, because then more people are drawn to you. Become a bigger attraction once you're world champion, but then you need to stay world champion to really keep it going. But ultimately, you know, you have to maintain, especially when you're young, the glory and the feeling of winning that world title should be enough to motivate you to get there. And once you're there, then you can start talking about money.
Yeah. How do you compare the feeling of winning a world title and then what you did for your mum after you've done a house up?
Yeah, I think that's obviously I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't world champion. Exactly. I'm pushing in that direction, so it's a bit, you know, of a, I don't know, it's a hard one to answer, but definitely that gives me more sense of satisfaction. Like when I win fights, I just feel more relief than like, oh yes, I feel more, okay, cool, another one, done, well, I'm happy because I want to do this, I'm still on course. When you do something like for your family and friends that you weren't able to when you were younger, I feel more sense of accomplishment there.
Sound. Lawrence, thank you for your time, and I hope the fans appreciate your skill. You're potentially in the next pay-per-view star in the UK.
God willing.
We're following you all the way to the top, pal. Alright, thank you. Cheers.